Let's take a look at some of our Alaska news for Monday, June 26th, 2017. The Bogoslav volcano has erupted again, prompting aviation warnings. The Aleutian Island volcano has been quite, shall we say, restless over the last several months, and this eruption on Friday sent an ash cloud up to around 35,000 feet or so, once again interfering with aviation, or potentially so. The Alaska Legislature averted the shutdown with a budget compromise, but more work remains in the special session. And Fort Wainwright is conducting what they're calling ice fog training. That's an acronym. Basically, it's a response for any kind of hazardous materials or other emergency response plans across Fort Wainwright, including evacuating buildings. Planners here in the Fairbanks North Shore Borough are considering allowing small livestock in urban areas, basically those little hobby farms, or allowing people to grow their own food and have some livestock. The university chancellor is now seeking private donors since the legislature voted to reduce the funding by $8 million. And the University of Alaska in Anchorage has suspended the Crow Pass Crossing. It's basically a backcountry marathon for a year, given the two recent bear attacks, the one that actually killed a runner who was participating in a backcountry race, and then the other one which killed a worker at the Pogo Mine and also injured another worker there as well. They're saying this is kind of unusual, and what we're going to do is look at how we can make the race safer, because generally these runners are going up by themselves, up over a mountain, down into a pass, across a low-lying area, and there have been numerous bear sightings over the years. There have never been any fatalities or attacks. But for safety's sake, they're postponing it for a year. Meanwhile, the state is still studying the fatal mauling near Pogo Mine. They're not willing to say just yet whether it was a predatory attack, although it does look that way. And the state issued a very unusual advisory about bears down by Chitna. The dipnetting campground there at O'Brien Creek has had a sow with a couple of cubs, apparently brought in by people disposing of the fish in the creek instead of out in the fast-moving Copper River. Alaskans are on edge after these deadly bear attacks. People are now taking more precautions, making sure that they're carrying bear spray or other bear protection. I prefer a lead-based spray from a firearm personally, but, you do what you need to do, right? And that human toe that was stolen from that bar in the Yukon has now been returned, along with a letter of apology. The Fox Well coming down to the wire. The state is set to close it here on July 1st, which is coming up at the end of this week. And the Friends of Foxwell have raised about $15,000, which is enough to keep it running and free of charge to the users for a couple of months. But basically, they're wanting to get free water. The rest of the people in the Fairbanks North Shore Borough have to pay for water one way or the other. I'm not sure how long this is going to go on for them. The state of Alaska has apologized to a widow after a body mix-up. You remember that it's actually one of the drownings that happened just last week. They identified the wrong man and showed the body to the widow, and now they're trying to figure out how that happened, especially since her husband was 30 years younger than the body that they showed her. Iditarod news. A rookie musher was the first one to sign up for this year. A musher who was once banned from the Iditarod over domestic violence charges is now going to be allowed to return to the race because he's fulfilled all of the court requirements. And Lance Mackey said that he will not be racing this coming year's Iditarod. If you're interested, the Fairbanks North Shore Borough has a cabin for sale, but you have to move it yourself. It's on land that they recently purchased to expand the Birch Hill trails. And they want the cabin out, and so they're selling it now for less than market value. Just please come and get it. Maybe they can post it on Craigslist. Lastly, Unalaska voted to spend their public money to barge junk down to Seattle. A bunch of wrecked cars and other scrap metal that they're going to be putting on a barge and sending down to Seattle, where I'm sure it's just going to disappear. If you'd like to check out the website, radiofreespeech.com, you can view all of my other commentaries. Today's commentary has to do with the comments that Prince Harry made about not wanting to be a member of the royal family anymore. And I'd love to engage on that and any other topics. Send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com, or give me a call. The phone lines are always open at 907-458-0495.